Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robbie. Across from me is my co-host, Adam Nielsen. And across from both of us is Dusty Nixon.
Mr. Crashy McCrashes a lot.
To be fair, it's not your fault.
This time.
Yeah.
I suppose it's hard to, it's pretty hard to get rear-ended and be your fault.
Yeah. Especially in stop-and-go traffic.
With the way the laws are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they explained that to her from the fact that she went from fine to crying at one point while the police officer was talking to her away from me. But
right, yeah.
Yeah, well,
that was where he told her he was writing her a ticket for failure to maintain control and that it was her fault and going on her insurance.
Yep.
Probably. Yep.
No, that's
I pride myself on never needing the ABS in my truck, and I ended up needing it today. And yeah, there was an Audi SUV behind me that reacted slightly too late.
So we're talking like Q7, Q3, Q5,
whatever the small
one.
It was like escape sized.
Okay.
Okay. My receiver hitch went clear through the middle of her license plate, and I think it might have stopped at the side of the block.
Yeah, it did.
Yet somehow my truck has a slightly bent bumper and apparently a broken fuel sending unit. That's about it. So
and parking assist.
Yeah, I think it killed at least one of the parking
that
sensor
light was on too.
No, you don't need that though. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but you don't want it on your dash.
That's true. I don't even like I didn't even like having dash or lights on the dash of the Focus.
Right.
No, so I get it.
Yeah.
Fix all the things.
So this looks a little more like the Z now. It has 2 warning lights on currently.
I suppose you have an ABS light on, don't you?
Oh, on the Z, there's an airbag light that flashes. There's ABS. What's the other one?
TPMS,
yeah.
So
all the time. It's like mildly Christmas tree like.
I've up until just recently, I've had nothing but piece of shit old vehicles, and TPMS is a new air quotes luxury. To me, I think it's fucking dumb, but I get that
it's convenient until it's inconvenient.
I get that it's designed for the average person who's well below me when it comes to those sort of things.
Sure.
And they need to be reminded of that, and fine, whatever. But I wish you could disable it, but fine, whatever. So my work truck, I think there's something wrong with the back ones.
Okay, yeah.
Because every once in a while, it'll tell me there's 59 or 58 pounds of air in both back tires, and then I'll go back there and check it, and they'll have 75 or whatever they're supposed to have in them.
Sure.
And you just ignore it, and in a day or two, it'll just go away.
It'll be right where it's supposed to be.
And so I just ignore it.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when I shut it off, it honks at me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And so, I got called out in the middle of the night last night, and I got back to my house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I shut the truck off, and I got out of it, and it honks at me, and goes, honk, 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 honk 4 times, and flashes all the fucking lights. And then I'm, literally cursing this thing under my breath, walking away, and then it does it again.
Okay, that's really annoying.
Because you've got 2 low tires.
At 4 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm that guy.
Wow.
Yeah, you should take that in and get it checked out, because it honestly might just need new sensors.
Well, so
yeah, I assume that's all it is.
Sensors are a consumable item.
Yeah.
So the tires that are on it, so it's got almost 160K on it now, and this is only the second set of tires.
Yep.
And they easily have half their life left. Jeez. I don't know what for a rock tire they bought for me, but they're the most garbage tire when it comes to any adverse weather. I mean, you even pretend to breathe on that brake pedal and it'll fucking slide. It's awful. But the first set of tires, the factory tires, lasted 50,000 miles.
Yeah, about right.
And now these are over 100 on these, and they're still good to go.
They're 700 treadwear.
Yeah, they've got easily another 50K in them.
That's crazy.
And I can't stand them.
That's how it goes. If it's a tire that you like,
right,
it doesn't last.
Yeah, well, that's because it's a quality tire, which means it has a little bit of grip to it, so it's a little bit of a softer compound.
Yep.
But
yeah,
well, the good news about your job is you don't have to get deployed in adverse weather at any time.
Right?
So.
Yeah, not all the time.
That's convenient.
Yeah. So
That reminds me, I need to get mine replaced. Because one was, I was driving, and it would disconnect and tell me I had
your
no,
TPMS?
I had no pressure.
Yeah.
And then 5 miles down the road, perfectly fine. So I do need new tires, so I'll just do it then eventually, probably.
I had here a couple of months ago, it kept telling me that one of the tires was low, and I would go and check it, and it was fine.
Yep.
And it was constantly telling me, like, what the? And it was getting worse and worse. And then I almost never am on the passenger side of my truck, right? And it was telling me that it was like driver's front or driver's rear. I can't remember which. But then I was on the passenger side, and the passenger's front tire is almost fucking flat.
Oh.
Turns out that when they rotated the tires in our
rotate them, they
mechanic
didn't
shop, they didn't move the TPM. They didn't reprogram the TPMS sensors. And I'm like, this tire's fine. I even like complained about the head mechanic. I'm like, hey, I got a TPMS failure because it says it's low, but the tire's not low.
Yep.
Turns out it was low, just not where it belonged.
You did never check the other 3?
No.
They specifically said it was a driver front.
Why should I have to? That's the whole point of the TPMS.
Well, they don't make it easy on the new trucks.
I realized that I literally 5 seconds ago complained about it and said that I don't need them.
And then you relied on it.
And then I relied on it. But like if it's there, you're gonna rely on it.
You are. Oh. No,
What I shouldn't have relied on is our idiot mechanics.
Yep.
That was my fault.
No.
Well, they probably don't have the $1,400 Snap-on tool.
They
that
do,
remaps
though.
them. Okay.
So yeah, the new ones
Then we
need
can
it.
blame them.
Yeah, the old ones were really nice because like on the Avalanche, I could rotate them and do whatever, and I hold the lock and unlock button I think at the same time on my key fob, and it goes into the program TPMS mode, and then you just let air out and it honks, and you go to the next one, you let air out and it honks, and it lights up the turn signal at which one you're supposed to let air out of, and it just does it.
That's what what my van does
it
too.
takes
It's great.
no time at all, and
great.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you go to the 2018s, and they don't let you do that.
No,
I'm so
I don't.
fucking
They've gotten
annoyed.
worse. I don't get it.
They had it figured out, and it was so easy.
Yeah, and now it's worse.
Yep. Technology does
Whoa.
not make everything better.
I didn't know you could do that.
What? Yeah, your truck does
My-
that. Your truck does the easy way.
Yeah.
Yeah, my fronts are my rears currently because I rotated the tires. When
Yeah,
did the
I think
oil.
I think it's unlock and lock button at the same time for like 3 seconds. It'll throw you into that mode, and then you can go and just it'll light up your driver front. You let air out, and then it'll honk at you, and then you go to the next one, and it's that easy. I'm pretty sure your truck will do it that way.
I blew some people's minds at work recently because I told them that because now most of our trucks at work are at least as new as mine, if not newer. Because mine's pushing 5 years old now.
Yeah,
it's a 2020.
time
And
flies, man.
I got it in like January of 2020, so it's creeping up there. But now you can go to a Chevy dealership and you can buy TPMS sensors that go in your, like if you have the trailer packaging, which all of our 3/4 and 1 ton trucks obviously do.
Yep.
You can buy TPMS sensors that go in the trailer
Noise.
and sync to the truck,
That's nice.
which is pretty fancy.
That's pretty cool.
So make things even more complicated and unnecessarily difficult.
Yeah, now you have all those extra wheels to figure out. And then of course, you're going to get them wrong, so it's going to be flip-flopped. And
Well, and then I'm going to hook up to that trailer today instead of this trailer, and then it won't work anymore.
Yep, correct.
And then the truck will complain about it the whole time because I'm hooked up to a trailer, but the TPMS sensors aren't there anymore.
Yep, 100%.
So it's not worth it for a company like ours. But if you have just like 1 or 2 trailers that you have personal, like if you wanted to put that on your trailers,
Yeah.
or your
At home, it makes sense.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
In a commercial setting, it doesn't make any sense. But
No.
so
That's my dad's got one of the like external like standalone monitoring deals that they use on the motorhome.
Yep.
And he bought enough sensors to put them on the trailer too. So on the way to Bowling Green earlier this year, he put the sensors on the trailer and then stuck the little thing up in the truck. Well, there's no way to tell it. The other 6 sensors that it's looking for that are on the motorhome, which is sitting at home, are not there.
Oh,
So it stays on for like 45 minutes and then it starts going beep, beep, beep. You turn it off, turn it back on, you're good again.
Oh, jeez.
See, I was expecting you to tell me that when you put it in the front of the motorhome, it was too far away from the trailer to sync up, and that it didn't work because you guys have this fucking bus of a motorhome.
It's only 40 feet.
It's fine.
Okay, Jabay.
That's 13 feet shorter than it could be, right?
I mean, it's shorter than Dalton's trailer, so.
Yeah.
It might actually be taller, too. That thing's so tall.
Yeah.
That's really saying something, too.
Yeah, it's hilarious. That trailer is so ridiculous. I love it so much.
I haven't seen that in over a year.
Yep.
Sad times.
It's a cold storage now.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to stay that way, too, honestly.
I'd say
After sitting a year, it's probably not the best idea to trailer it anywhere.
Yeah.
Plus, he has Daddy's trailer now. So
Right.
That is nice.
It would be really nice, wouldn't it?
I say that as Daddy's trailer sitting.
Well,
right
yeah,
there.
but it's for the skid loader that
I
you're borrowing. I mean, he probably borrows Daddy's skid loader too.
But to say the only thing better than Daddy's trailer is when it goes with Daddy's skid steer.
True story. I get to borrow it all summer. Well, not anymore, potentially, but I did this summer.
I assume it's got to go back too.
Yeah, he's got to come get it. He meant to come get it in September, and just schedules didn't work out.
Yeah.
So I gotta just dig more holes and
yeah, put gravel down. That's what sucks. You're like, I need to put gravel on my driveway. All right, here's $600 worth of gravel.
Yeah, stuff adds up real fast.
And then you spread it, and
a
you're like,
$200 delivery fee.
No, it was $600 with a fee.
Oh, that's not so bad.
I mean, really, gravel's not that expensive, but when you add a $200 delivery fee,
yeah,
it's a whole deal. But yeah, then you spread it thin, and you're like, yeah, clearly 17 tons is enough.
Turns out I needed.
No, I mean, it's 17 tons. Yeah, 17 tons was enough, but it's just like
barely.
It
wasn't too much.
It definitely wasn't too much.
It depends on how long you're going to be driving on the driveway, honestly.
That's true. I probably didn't even need to do it. Let it be someone else's problem.
Just pave it like a real man, Robbie.
Oh, yeah, because I'm made of money.
Yeah. Mr. Engineer over there.
Also, it makes no sense considering how it's 3 miles of the worst
gravel road.
Yeah, the 3 miles of the worst gravel road in the state.
Yeah, but it's easy to plow then.
That's true.
And that's what matters.
That's true. I don't get to keep the
Then you
skid loader
can get stuck on the gravel road.
Yeah. I don't get to keep the skid loader in the winter though. So
I assume he uses that.
Yeah, that's why he has
for that specific purpose. Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
What else?
Do we need to address something?
Should we try
you
this
want to try
garbage? That? So Katie and I were
some funny beverages. That's
Katie and I were we were grocery shopping.
Yep.
At the Fairway, which is our local grocery store chain in Iowa. For those of you who don't live around here,
No, it's not.
huh?
It's not.
What?
Fairway is not the grocery store chain of Iowa.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
It's Hy-Vee.
No.
Dude. Bro.
No.
It's Hy-Vee.
It's Fairway.
Hy-Vee sponsors IndyCar and other such racing things.
Good for them.
It's Hy-Vee.
But it's not Iowa.
They're headquartered here.
Yeah, so is Fairway.
We don't care.
In Boone.
Fairway's in Boone. Hy-Vee's in Des Moines.
Big city crap. Anyway, I'm just saying, I don't have a Fairway in my town, or I don't have a Hy-Vee in my town, but Fairway took the time to build me a grocery store.
I have
because they support small town Iowa.
I have a Fairway within walking distance from work, and I refuse to go to it.
Why?
Because Fairway builds brand new grocery stores. And then as soon as you walk in, you're like, this feels like it's 100 years old.
I love it.
I fucking hate it.
It's so small towny. I fucking
so,
love that place.
So poorly set up.
Also, they have the best meat counter.
I won't argue with that. It has a great meat counter.
They started doing these standalone meat stores.
Oh, nice.
There's one in the parking lot of the Hy-Vee in Ames, which I think is hilarious.
Okay.
But yeah, they have these standalone meat stores. You just walk in there and
it's just a butcher shop.
It's just well, they don't butcher anything in there, but like it's just it's all meat counter and you can get all kinds of stuff in there. So there's like one or two of them here in Des Moines. You should find one, Robbie. They're great.
No, I'll just go to the Hy-Vee.
Anyway, so I bought this crap. It's called Ollie Pop, which I'm sure those. Yeah, they have them everywhere.
They're heavy.
I don't want to talk about how much I spent on this. I honestly
$3.
I honestly don't
He spent
remember, but
$3.
I'm pretty sure that Robbie's not far off.
I'm not wrong.
Well, it's that at Hy-Vee. It's probably $250 at Fairway because it's a more reasonably priced place. But I mean,
here's how I'll describe Hy-Vee to you. Hy-Vee is where you'll pay a little extra not to have to go to Walmart, and it's worth it.
Hell yeah.
It's a Target. It's the Target of grocery
That's why I go
stores.
to Target. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, Target is yeah.
Yeah.
But it's only groceries, mostly.
Yeah.
It's
No, they got a lot.
95%
There's a lot.
groceries.
There's a lot of extra crap in there.
Yeah, there is stuff. But anyway, I bought this Olipop banana cream because Robbie and I love
Artificial
banana flavored things.
Yep.
But so this Olipop stuff, it's got a lot of buzzwords on it.
Yeah, it's non-GMO and vegan.
They call it a new kind of soda. It's plant powered and microbiome approved. It says it right, stamped right
There's
on.
no
here.
way it's artificial banana. It's pure real banana.
Prebiotics, botanicals, plant fibers, vegan, paleo, non-GMO. I mean, it's literally got all of the buzzwords. Gently swirl before opening.
Oh boy.
Gently swirl.
That's what it says.
For a 12-ounce can of $3 soda.
I'm gently swirling.
Hey,
I've
it's a new
thought
kind of soda, Robbie.
I've thought about trying it, but then I look at the price tag. I'm like, no, I don't care that much.
I mean, there's only one reason I did this.
I know it's for the podcast,
Right.
For the fans.
But I was worried. I was reading this trying to figure out, is this just some water bullshit?
No, I think
It's a legit soda.
It's got 50 calories. So, I mean, it's actually got things in
It's
it.
only got 4 grams of sugar, so
That's nice.
they're doing well there by soda standards for sure.
What's it say on top? Something health on the label.
Supports digestive health, which is very important to me, Robbie.
Soda.
You
My
guys are gonna poop
biome.
so hard later.
My microbiome is something I'm really proud of.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is it. Like in
gonna-
Hy-Vee, it's in like the health
Yeah.
area.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
It sits next to the kombucha.
This was in the produce cooler
Uh-huh.
like thing in the Fairway.
Yep. It's not next to the sodas.
No. No, and it's always kept refrigerated.
Yep.
So,
This is totally going to offset that Casey's pizza.
yeah.
I'm on the Casey's breakfast burrito kick right now.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Have you tried the jalapeno popper pizza, right?
God. If there's one thing I'm going to miss about Iowa, it's the jalapeno popper.
Are you just going to
pizza.
tell everybody like
I don't want to ruin the segment by talking about another segment.
Fine. Let me crack this bad boy open.
That's what we call a tease.
Stick around.
Jesus Christ. All right.
But yeah,
Robbie, let's see
the
what we got
jalapeno popper
here.
the jalapeno popper Casey's pizza is fucking bomb. Yeah, pour it in there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like lemonade. So
It does just look like
that's
lemonade.
A good. I can't decide if that's a good or a bad start.
Oh my gosh.
Is it artificial smelling?
That is very banana-y. But it's not artificial banana.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
That's artificial.
I can barely
Really the-
smell today.
This is going to be the biggest upset in the world if this is actually good.
Yeah, I know, because it's like $3. I don't want to pay for that.
This is going to be liquid death all over again.
Let's just say we gladly pay for liquid death. I don't know why we were worried about this.
Yeah, Robbie drinks like
30
a 12-pack a day of
That's
liquid
30%
death.
less. And there's way more of it.
Yeah, because these are short cans. This is a regular
it's a 12
ounce
ounce.
can versus a 16-ounce can.
Yeah, 20
That's-
ounce.
Oh, are they?
No, it's 16.
That's how I justify
20.
1919. They're the bigger
Yeah,
cans.
the tall boys.
Yeah, that's how I justify that.
All right. It's just a carbonated soda. It smells like artificial banana. You couldn't cool this off before you brought it here?
It was.
Oh, that's right, because you've been fishing for like 6 hours.
That's
and
not
now
true, Robbie. Hey, it's not my fault that Dusty got in an accident with some hot chick in her Audi and took all that time.
That's true. He could have just came home, but he sat and talked for
but
like
instead,
45 minutes.
Instead, he got in a fender bender.
Yeah.
Just to get some chick's number.
Yeah, selfish. I mean, that's
I'll give that police department credit. They were there pretty quick.
Also, this is delicious.
this is quite good.
This is a problem, honestly.
Yeah, it does taste like a. I mean, it's a little. There's a hint of real banana in there, but it's definitely artificial, like candy banana.
I'm not mad about this.
Nope. I don't like how the aftertaste sticks around like a banana.
It's not good enough that I feel the need to go buy more,
Correct.
But like if I'm feeling wily and a little bit rich one day, I might grab a can.
Yeah, this would be better if it was cold, but
It was cold when I got it. It's been sitting in the fridge in the like company break room.
for like 6 months.
No, for a couple of weeks though.
The last time we recorded.
So
Actually,
That was longer than 2 weeks.
no,
it was last
definitely
week.
before
It was
that
last
because I forgot to go and get it out of the fridge one time. So it's been at least 4 weeks.
All right. So am I gonna? Like, is this gonna regulate my stomach? It's all right. It's got carbonated water. That's a good place to start.
Well, I mean,
And then it's got Ollie Smart
I don't know what that means.
with which is a wait, hold on. Cassava root fiber, root insulin,
there's like
Jerusalem artichoke
there's
insulin,
stuff floating in it, Robbie.
Nepal cactus, marshmallow
Jerusalem
root,
artichoke. What?
Huh?
calendula flower, kudzu root. There's a lot of roots in here. Banana puree, so real banana.
That's the stuff floating around in there, Robbie.
Cassava root syrup, lemon juice, double fold vanilla, stevia leaf, Himalayan pink salt.
Stevia leaf. That's why it has an aftertaste, because it's got stevia
Yeah,
in
it's
it.
got stevia in it.
That'll do it.
Doesn't that shit like give me cancer or some crazy thing?
No, that's what real sugar does. That doesn't matter. Everything.
Real sugar just makes me fat, right?
Everything gives you cancer. Adam.
That's fair.
You want to know what the American retirement plan is? Cancer.
Dying early.
Yep. There isn't one. I said that to my mom once, and she got like really, like, she didn't appreciate it.
Why bother saving for retirement? I'm never going to get there anyway.
Exactly. We're all going to die of cancer before that anyway.
Or World War III.
Yeah, there's that. This isn't a political podcast.
You're right, it's not, but it is a realistic one.
This has been your uplifting opener with
Presented by Petrobox, a Columbus, Ohio-based company.
I'm going to call that 6 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Would drink for free.
I'll give you that. This is pretty good. I don't want to go and buy a 12-pack of this.
I don't know that I've ever seen
Yeah, well, you
that sold in anything but individual cans.
It has to be individual. It's a lot of plant fibers.
Contains 3% juice, so that's good.
if you stumbled upon it in a cooler at a Grid Life at 2 a.m., you would drink it.
Yep.
I don't know that I would drink anything that I stumbled upon in a cooler at a Grid Life at 2 a.m., sealed or not.
Yeah, you shouldn't be taking things out of people's coolers. That's just not cool.
Yeah. It's rude is what it is.
They have beer with weed in it now.
Oh,
yeah,
I know.
yeah, they sell it here. It's because it's weird. Like, you can't buy weed here, but you can buy THC drinks.
Yeah, that's the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's like 0.02% or something like that. THC.
Yeah, a lot of the music venues and bars will have like their
Or
drink menu.
micrograms,
Yeah, they'll have their drink menu, and then they'll have their NA menu, which is usually only like 2 or 3 things, and then they'll have their THC menu. It's kind of it's starting to be a thing.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't. Just have my happy refresher. And call it a day.
I don't get that one either, Robbie.
My brother's hooked on them.
Dude, I bought a pack of those a while back.
Yeah.
and
You were disappointed, weren't you?
They stay shook up for days. Like,
It's a special kind of carbonation. I will give you that.
we took a couple of them over to a friend's house, and like we'd been there for a while, and I went over and opened one, and it looked like I just won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Noise.
And then like
Noise.
brought one of them back, and I opened it like 2 days later, and I took it gently out of the refrigerator.
It's a celebratory drink.
So
It's just always, it's all rise is what it is.
Yep.
All rise, no fall.
yeah, I had a 4-pack of them, and I think I drank about 2 1/4 of them total by the time.
And now he's got a
It's all
good
cleaned
feel
off the
for it.
floor.
Yeah, now he's got a good feel for it. Now he wants more. That's how
I
it
bet he
works.
doesn't.
I bet he does.
It's not worth the cleanup.
Well, it's an easy cleanup. It's just carbonated water. It's not like
It
spilling.
smells like beer.
It's not like spilling one of these on the floor and then having to clean it up.
Well, there's only 4 grams of sugar in here. That wouldn't be that bad.
It'd be sticky.
It's
You
not
know-
that
you know-
sticky.
Do you want ants?
Steve.
That's how you get ants.
It's not that sticky.
It's that sticky.
It's only 4 grams of sugar. It's no Mountain Dew.
Yeah, that'd be
Stevia
10
is going
times
to be
it.
really sticky.
Is it? I don't
Yep.
fucking know. I don't drink that crap.
I bet you do.
I don't know.
Anyways. This drink is brought to you by Petrobox. MyPetrobox.com, a Columbus-based company.
Oh, Jesus
My-
Christ, Robbie.
Use the code.
Just fucking say it. Robbie. Just get it over
When we
with.
finally get to the reveal, they're going to be like, "Oh, now I get it."
Use the code GTV15 for your 15% off your first box and anything currently available in the store. MyPetrobox.com, a Columbus-based company.
Visit beautiful Columbus.
It's bright,
Not my choice.
bright and sunny Columbus.
You don't know that. It's for sure dark there.
It's literally always been perfect weather every time I've been there.
All 4 times.
Literally every time.
That hardly counts, Robbie.
It's crazy that it's like that all year.
It's not like that all year.
I think I already told you my fun facts about how many Waffle Houses they have.
Yes, I heard. You want to just tell the folks at home, Robbie. Just lay it out there.
I got a job.
Yeah, you got a job. And I don't know if you guys have picked up on this or not, but it's in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, did this shirt give it away? So yeah, I got a job in Columbus, Ohio at EWI, or Edison Welding Institute, as others would know it as.
And he can't talk about it.
What do you mean?
Mostly because they don't know he doesn't know what they do there.
Oh yeah, mostly everything's an NDA. I can't talk about what I actually do for work. But
He could tell you, but he'd have to kill you.
yeah, so it's all. But I'm done with manufacturing, so that's great.
So is this a school?
No, it's like a consulting firm. That's the best way to describe
Test
it.
lab?
Yeah, it's all research and development work. Contract
That's where
based.
the money's at for sure.
Oh, this really makes me burpy.
Yeah, very much so.
So after reading, can I provide what my impression of it was after reading the very vague and
Yes.
Is it real hipstery?
No, it's like one of the leading welding things
Does it
like
have
in the
real,
world.
Does it have a Google feel?
No, so it was just like after reading it, the impression I got was like, okay, I'm a company or an entity of some kind, and I need some things welded, except I don't have any idea what welding is or what it does, but I know that these two things need to be stuck together. So I contact the Edison Welding Institute and they say, hey, this is how you should weld that.
We can develop a process for you.
Basically that. Yeah. You basically reach out to them when you have like a really crazy idea of basically new technology. So yeah, no, they've been around for ever, and it's been a leading industry in welding. So it was one of those things like when I announced it at work that I was resigning and taking this job at EWI, a lot of the people that had been in not just at Collins, but like in industry for a long time, a lot of the engineers that were in like other technical type fields, as soon as I said EWI, like, oh, okay then,
Bye.
see ya. So it definitely got the same feel of me going in and saying, Robbie got a job at Google, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I'd leave too. It had that same vibe. I got a job at EWI. Oh, see ya.
Beat it, nerd.
Yep,
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
definitely that. So yeah,
Some companies will tell you that, yeah.
Yep. So I got to. I don't start till January, so I gave my 3-month notice. So
I mean, they didn't walk you out yet.
they haven't walked me
so
out yet, so that works.
We'll see. I mean, tomorrow's a new day.
Yep. No, it was a super intense interview process.
Yeah.
So I did 3 Zoom interviews.
Okay.
So I did a Zoom interview with their.
Did you wear pants?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're really casual, so it was just those were just.
Well, I was like, because people always joke about they're sitting at a desk
Yeah.
on Zoom. They've got a really nice shirt on and they're not wearing any pants.
Yeah. So no, it was like I did it like basically after the workday, so I was already in my work clothes.
yeah.
But I just like wore a button up instead of like a polo.
Right.
And then I wore a jacket just for the first initial ones. And it was just like, it wasn't even an interview. It was just like a conversation about the job. So it was super relaxed.
Right.
So it was basically just a vibe check. Like, is this someone I want to work with? So then I did 3 of those director of HR, the director of engineering, the director of HR, and then the lady that would be my boss. And they all went really well. And so they invited me on site. I don't know if anyone paid attention. They noticed that I was in Columbus a while back.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Columbus: they have 14 White Castles because the headquarters is there, and they have 18 Waffle Houses.
14 too many. That's not enough Waffle Houses. So I support the Waffle House.
Yep.
So all those little grilled onions exploding in your mouth like flavor crystals.
Gross.
Can't wait. Didn't eat any of that when I was there. I did have some awesome food while I was out there.
Yeah, some Waffle House.
Didn't have any Waffle House. So then, flew me in on site. So I did an interview. It started at 9 a.m. Lasted until 1:30. No, it was after 2 o'clock. Basically a 6-hour interview. Interviewed with 10 people.
That's so ridiculous.
I gave a 20-minute presentation on a project that I had previously done that was relevant to the best of my knowledge to the work that I'd be doing at EWI.
Right.
Nailed it.
I mean, obviously, you're such a natural public speaker, Rob. That's why you do a podcast.
To be fair, the podcast has grown me in that.
Sense. It certainly has
exponentially.
It certainly has. I mean, it's for both of us for sure. But
yeah. So so the interview, all the interviews went really well. The presentation went really well. Then the last interview would be with like someone I'm working with directly all the time, and he's like, I didn't want to do an interview. I just want to like give you a tour and we can talk. So we did a tour of the whole facility, kind of walked around, like showing all the technology and everything I'd be working with and who I'd be working with. And then at the end, they sat me down in a room and they go, "You have 30 minutes to write me a proposal about the presentation you just gave us."
Ugh, God.
And I fucking nailed that too.
That sounds awful.
So got the job offer, accepted the job offer, starting January. I'm excited.
I'm glad you are.
I get to move to sunny Columbus. I'm moving south, Adam. I am moving south.
Like fucking 40 miles.
It's still south. The rules are I cannot move further north ever. That's the rules.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So I moved south.
Not a remarkable amount.
It is. It's more south.
It's mostly east. You live in the Middle East now, Robbie.
I do live.
We spent a lot of time in the last 8 years of this podcast making fun of the very place you decided to uproot to.
The place I call home.
So they're going to find a certain podcast and figure out that
they had plenty of time to find
smirched.
it. They had plenty of time to find the podcast. I'm sure it'll show up. I'm sure it'll show up in the background check.
This guy said some real weird shit. You seen the people he hangs out with?
Especially if they use YouTube captions.
Yeah. Who's this beer hound guy? Jesus.
Oh yeah, you're totally covered because you're Robbie Bar who
it'll never show up
according to the captions.
But yeah, no, it was good. The interview went really well. I was really excited about it. Like by the time I walked out of there, I was like, man, I hope I get this job. Like it was just I was super pumped about it. Super pumped about the facility. And then the rest of the weekend hung out with E-Man and his family, and he showed us around Columbus, showed us all the cool places, had some awesome food. Jess obviously came with me.
Yeah.
And she Friday, she basically just, when I was doing the interview, she just kind of walked around like the Ohio State campus area because that's kind of where our hotel was, because that's kind of where EWI is. So she just kind of walked around and got a feel for things and grabbed like some snacks or whatever, right? And then she walked into the whole weekend as basically her opportunity to be like, if I'm not getting a good feel for this, I'm going to put my foot down and say this isn't happening. She couldn't do it. She
doesn't seem like the type of thing Jess would do.
No, but like she was legitimately looking for reasons.
It would have to be real fucking bad for Jess not to be like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
Well, I mean, she likes her job. She has a good job, and she does not want to give that up. So she was genuinely walking into it saying, this doesn't outweigh what I'm giving up, and she could not do it.
Right.
That was even ignoring how I felt about the job.
Right.
She still couldn't do it. She really loved the city. She was really excited about it, and then I get to be all social and hang out with cool people all the time.
It won't last.
It will last.
No, it won't. People don't change, Robbie.
I changed.
No.
Yeah.
Just moving from one zip code to another is not going to magically make you the most social person in the world.
I am the most social.
I give it 6 months tops.
Hey, if it works for adultery, It can work for
No.
overall social.
I give it 6 months tops, and then you'll be the same person you are here.
No, I
You'll
don't.
just live 40 miles farther south.
I don't think so. I'm like genuinely
1,000 miles
So
east.
I got added to the Petrol Box Boys group chat. So I have 14 new friends already.
I'm sticking with my original assertion.
I think you're wrong.
I mean, whatever. I'll never know because we'll probably never talk again.
That's not true. We'll still
So
do
it's
podcasts.
fine. Probably never go to another race in my life. Fuck
Okay,
it.
that's on you.
Next
Fuck
thing you
it.
know, he's gonna have a fancy watch and a Porsche.
I'm just gonna be fishing.
Yeah, see, you don't even want to do race car things.
I don't know. It changes day by day, honestly.
I get that. I really do.
Yeah. And I don't even do that sort of stuff that much, but like, I don't know. It's been weird doing the event thing lately
Yeah.
because like the week leading up to it, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
I don't want to go.
It's a lot of work.
And then I've talked myself in and out of it 40 times a day,
Yep.
basically. And then finally I'm like, well, people are like expecting me to be there. They're relying on me to be there. I have a task I'm supposed to complete. I have a thing I'm supposed to do. And like, I can't let someone down. So like, I guess I'm going.
Yep.
And then when I'm done, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did that.
Yep. Every time. Best weekend ever.
That's the hard part about all of it. You know, it's like,
Yep.
I'm just so tired of the fast pacedness of my life in general.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't doubt that for a second.
And I don't get a break when I
Feeling
go
that all you
to
do is-
to an event.
The feeling that all you do is go to work and go home.
No, I guess I fish. That's his break.
One day a week
Yeah.
here before I record a podcast. So
At least
not
that happens
anymore.
every week.
So that's going to go away.
Yeah, every week at least.
So that's going to go away when Robbie leaves here. I have to make friends with the person that buys this house
Yeah.
so I can keep fishing here.
Yeah, maybe someone will buy it. But we know.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
Can that be in your sale contract?
That we'll just take the little license thing with you.
No one's ever
Because no one cares. If,
No
if
one's-
you're here by yourself, no one cares.
Yeah, no one's ever looked at me in it, but like it'd probably be different if I'm like rolling up in my car.
Yeah, if you're parking over there or like dropping a boat or something,
Yeah.
people notice. If you're
Right.
just a dude walking with a fishing pole,
Right.
mind his own business, no one cares.
Right.
It's
So-
a rule that it's there in case it needs to be enforced. and
Yeah. Yeah.
No one cares.
There are some here in town that people will get run out of
Oh, I believe that.
Real
I don't doubt
fast.
that for a second.
real fast. But I think
found them-
your proximity to other people keeps that to a
It's
minimum.
pretty rare to see people we don't recognize on it.
Right.
There's one dude that just dropped a boat one time, like a legitimate actual
That's-
size boat.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, that didn't go over very well. People,
How do you get it in there?
there's one of the houses has a boat drop or whatever you call it, whatever you call that,
Oh,
roll in. Yeah.
a boat ramp?
Yeah, is that what you call it?
I don't know.
Yeah, boat ramp. We'll go with that.
Sure.
The official term is boat ramp.
Because clearly I'm using boats a lot.
Yeah, me too.
So
But
I found the neighborhood in Columbus you need to move to.
is it called New California?
No,
Jesus fucking-
There is a town called New California.
I don't know if it's easy for you to pull something up in the messenger or not,
In
but
the messenger. I mean, I can. I told E-Man that we have to find a house that lives on like a street or a city or a county or something that has an innuendo in it. I can't move out
this
of.
one's good for that.
All right, I can't move out of. I can't move out of
I don't know if
coming.
you can even say that.
If it's real, I can
Christ.
say it.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Blacklick Estates. There was one house, and I can't think of where it was. Where was it? There was one. I think it was a city, maybe a county. That was an absolute perfect innuendo, and I think it was on Johnson Street.
Nice.
Yep. And I was like, "Oh, perfect, we have to." And Jess thought it was a shithole house, and she said no.
Why does she hate fun? You can fix that.
That's
you
what I-
can't,
that's what I
You can't
said.
change the name of the street, but you can fix that it's a shithole.
Yeah, just pour
She
some more
hates the
money.
content.
Yeah,
She
just pour
doesn't
some-
understand.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't want to. I don't want to move out of Cumming and then not go into an innuendo area.
Right, yeah, it's got to be something fun.
Yeah. But no, I'm really excited about it. Obviously, big change. House, I sell the house, got to move. But yeah, that'll happen here in the next couple of months.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
I mean, congratulations. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy for you. I'm just
genuinely excited.
a
about
little
the
bit
job.
bummed about
Yeah.
it too.
Yep.
So-
Genuinely excited about the work, the job, the people I've met at the company, and yeah, just the company in general. Like,
Yeah.
just all good vibes. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
Cool.
But yeah, then it's just awkward to walk in to work and go, all right, I'm leaving. Well, that was rude. Thanks
Jesus
a lot.
Christ.
Thanks a lot, Windows security. Rude. Did not need that right now. It's like they don't even care. It's like we're not, like they don't know we're recording a podcast.
Yeah, I only
It knows. Trust me.
I only did 2.5 weeks, and it was super awkward at my my experience with this. So
Yeah, 3 months means they get to
don't-
like everything gets drug out. So
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I had to have the conversation of like, oh, so where are you going? And like tell the same
Well, you could have
elevator
just kept
speech.
your mouth shut.
No,
Turned in your 2 weeks in December.
no.
yeah,
There's no way I could have kept it a secret.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
Not with
'cause
your
it-
current work environment.
No,
yeah,
we won't
it
talk
gets-
about that.
Yeah, there's just not a good way to do it.
No, there isn't.
I mean, there's plenty of people that I've worked with that just never came back, and that seems like
Yeah,
one
I'm not-
way to do it.
No, I think going the other direction, saying you have 3 months to find a replacement, and I can train.
They won't do that.
I know,
They
but
won't
I
do that,
gave them
no.
the opportunity.
Yeah, they'll
I
hire-
gave, I
they'll
gave
hire-
them the opportunity.
He'll start December 15th.
That's fine. That's on them.
I've given 2 different companies that opportunity, and neither one of them replaced me within several months after me leaving. So
Yeah. Well, luckily, weld engineers are a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Just pluck them off a tree.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
So,
But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited about it. And then Clayton lives in the area.
yeah, he's already offered me a job.
E-Man lives in the area. Mid Ohio's like right there.
Clayton knows how to negotiate.
Yeah,
He sent me
I know he did.
where the place that he works at, which he wants me to come work with him.
Yeah.
Sent me a Google screenshot of it and said that pond right behind it owned by the company and stocked. Fuck. You drive a hard bargain.
Yep.
Drives a hard bargain.
It's time to uproot.
No.
I mean, even your dad would agree. The pros outweigh the cons
No.
every time.
No.
Yep.
I'm not moving to
your dad.
Ohio.
Your dad would agree.
No.
Yep.
There's no way I'm uprooting my wife and kids to go up there.
Oh, it'd be worth it.
Katie won't go.
It'd be fine.
Katie won't go.
It'd be fine.
So she wants me to go somewhere awful like fucking Minnesota.
Nope. You can't move north. That's the rules.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no interest in being in Ohio, but Minnesota?
No.
Slap me.
I did 8 months in Minnesota. I won't do it again. Actually, I did 2 years in Minnesota, but that was like Jackson, so it's like on the border, so it doesn't
It
count.
doesn't matter.
It still sucked. There's like it's legitimately as soon as you hit the Iowa
Yeah.
Minnesota border,
Yeah.
weather changes
It drops
dramatically.
15 degrees. Minimum.
dramatically.
Yeah.
Yup.
how can it drop 15 degrees from where you guys are?
It's awful up there.
That's when the negative numbers come out, man.
It's probably
You're
already
in the negative numbers.
It's probably already snowing in parts of Minnesota.
Yeah, Ryan is dealing with snow
Well,
right now.
he's in Wisconsin, and that's a whole different.
That's different. I
That's
guess
a whole different ballgame.
But it's better though.
There's snow on the cheese.
Yeah, Wisconsin's. I mean, Minnesota's nice.
I don't
get
know
me wrong,
why, but
it's just cold.
I don't know why, but I agree that Wisconsin is better.
It's better.
Like I don't think of Wisconsin in nearly as negative of a light as I think about
Literally never ever.
Minnesota, and they're like the same place.
It's not though. Wisconsin's way
but
different.
like that's not how I think about it. It's absolutely a
You're-
better place to be.
Yes.
You're making a lot of people mad right now.
I'm fine with that.
No, that's fine.
There's like 3 people that listen to this that live in Minnesota, and I don't feel bad about
I
it.
lived there long enough so I can have an opinion about it.
I live close enough to it that I can have an opinion of it.
Litchfield, Minnesota, very cold in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Not great.
No. So, anyway,
Yeah. Now that my announcement, and that's literally all I've been up to.
should we do car? Should we talk about car things?
I guess. I mean, we already did the water thing. No one's listening anymore.
That's fair. It was a soda thing, a pop thing.
Oh yeah, we gotta get back to the water.
It was a pop thing.
soda.
Pop, not soda.
It's soda.
It's pop.
What do they say in Ohio?
Fucking know or care.
It's soda.
They probably have some other bullshit.
Well,
name.
at least it's not from like the South where they call it Coke.
Yeah.
What do you?
Cokes.
I was waiting for it.
Unless it's Dr. Pepper.
That's just Dr. Pepper.
Oh,
Dr. Pepper's
Oh,
from
they
Waco,
call it Coke in
Texas.
Ohio, apparently.
no, they do not.
Just another reason to hate Ohio. I'm just saying.
That's actually nice.
I'm on
I really-
popversussoda.com, and it says...
No, they don't.
So, a billion years ago, when
Yep.
I was like 17, 18 years old, Come and Go did this thing all summer one year where they were doing this pop versus soda thing.
Okay.
And they had blue cups and red cups. And red cups was pop and blue cups was soda. And the whole idea was that whatever they sold more of, they were going to call it that from to the end of eternity, right? They had dumb joke T-shirts about pop and soda. I can't remember what mine said. I bought the pop one. I can't remember what it was. But then at the end of the summer, they brought out purple cups and just said soda pop, and I was like,
No,
you motherfuckers!
that is not how this works.
You motherfuckers! I was so mad about it.
And that's why
That's the perfect political move.
terrible.
I was upset.
Terrible.
They gerrymandered the pop versus soda vote.
They really did. I was pissed. So.
And I was actually wrong. It's the survey that was done here of 23,000 people, 19,000 said pop in Ohio.
Really?
Well, at least they got one thing right.
Yeah.
I guess I still call it soda. What have you been up to?
Well, so 2 weeks ago now, I went over to my freshly retired father's house. My dad's finally reached the age where he can retire, and
He's so bored.
So that's what he did. And so my sister brought her husband and kids up there. I brought my wife and kids down there, and we just kind of hung out. And we didn't have any specific plans, any things to do, just kind of hung out at Grandpa's house.
Perfect.
And so through one reason or another, just because it's been such a busy and crazy summer, I haven't really been down there a whole lot this summer. So it's kind of interesting just to see all of the things that my dad has been up to. So I don't know if we talked about this.
You mean check in on how big his hoarding?
Well, there is that. So so far he's managed to pretty okay manage his time. And he hasn't like gotten way out of hand with buying stuff. He is like smart enough to kind of like, if I can't have a place to put it inside, I don't need more of it.
Yeah, I get that.
So, but he's always wheeling and dealing and selling and buying and trading and stuff. So I don't know if we've talked about this, but I know we talked about the yellow, I don't know, 56, 57, whatever it is, Pontiac thing that he bought that I dislike, that he wants to turn into a gasser.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yes, we talked about my great displeasure for that thing. But then he also bought 1 year newer, whatever that year is, I don't know or care, station wagon.
Okay.
Which I support wholeheartedly.
I like the patina.
I love the station wagon. So he was if I remember the story right, he was at a swap meet and he drove by this thing on the way to the swap meet and saw it and then stopped on the way home and bought it. It wasn't at the swap meet. It was on the route to the town with the swap meet.
Okay.
And he bought this thing.
That's where you find the best deals. On the road to the swap meet.
We've bought a lot of vehicles on the roadside on a whim. This is not a new thing for my dad by any stretch of the imagination. So we've walked up to many a house, knocked on a door, and asked if that car was for sale, and drove home with the car on the trailer before. Certainly not out of the ordinary for my dad. But so he bought this station wagon. It's not in nearly as good a shape as the coupe that he wants to turn into a gasser. However, I support this being a gasser because it would be awesome. But it's a 4-door station wagon, so it's real big. It's a real land yacht. But it's got a Pontiac V8 in it, which is kind of cool. It doesn't run yet.
By the time this airs, I bet it does.
He hasn't really been working on this one because he's been working on some other stuff. This one mostly just sits in the in the shed and just kind of takes up a lot of real estate.
Yeah, on that 20-foot trailer, it's taking up at least 19 feet of it.
Yeah.
It might be hanging off the
She's a
back.
big-
Yeah, that's true.
She's a big one. But there's a couple of things that are interesting about this. If you scroll through these pictures, I'll tell you when to stop because it's a real. So there, right there, Robbie. Stop right there.
Stop.
So back in the day when this was a actual car that someone would drive around,
Okay.
a lot of people use station wagons to tow stuff.
Yes.
It was very common to flat tow or use a dolly or even use a trailer to get your race car to the racetrack, but do it with a station wagon rather than a truck.
Yep.
It was very common. So this is a thing I'd never really thought about before, but in 1957 or 58 when this thing was made, whatever it is, 55, 56, 57, 50, I don't know.
In the 50s.
In the 50s, electronic trailer brakes were not really a thing.
Can I guess what that broken off stub of a hose is?
Well, based on what I just said, context clues, but sure, go ahead.
Did it have an interconnected brake that you hook up to the car that you're towing?
So the master cylinder, which for some odd reason, so you know how when you have a unibody car, there's a firewall and a floor and like a nice curved piece of metal that meets those two?
Sure.
The master cylinder is like at a 45-degree angle in the middle of that curve downward.
Oh, weird.
And like you can't see it from above because there's a heater box above it on the driver's side.
It's just buried in there.
And like you can't see it from above. But what my dad tells me is that there's a master cylinder down there somewhere. And coming off of one of those brake lines is a T fitting with another hard brake line ran off it and ran all the way to the bumper of the car. And then apparently at some point there used to be a hose fitting that ran to the trailer. And I can only imagine that meant that every time you hooked up the trailer, you had to bleed some level of brake system in order to get the trailer brakes to work. Can you imagine?
Well, then you got to go check your points, and you got to go mess with your car.
That's just standard operating procedure.
It's like a 45-minute deal.
They had more time back then. They didn't have smartphones.
That's fair.
I mean, they certainly had more time. But can you imagine the awful horse shit of dealing with having to bleed the brake system to get the trailer brakes to work?
I agree with that sentiment. He just kind of sold me on the idea of being
Everything
back
else.
in that time.
No, that's fine. I get
Whereas
where you're going there.
I can't know what's going on in the world. No one can bother me.
Well, Robbie, now is your major life change. It's time to go to the.
I went to the other end of the spectrum, and now I'm Mr. Social.
It's time for you to go get a fucking flip phone.
If you think I didn't consider it the last time I was at the AT&T store, you are crazy.
Well, you're making a big life change. Just fucking whole ass it, Robbie. Don't half ass it. Jump both feet in.
No, I got to be available so I can.
You don't have to do.
I got to meet up
anything.
with my friends.
You don't have to do anything.
I have to. If Clayton wants to go to a test day at Mid-O, I got to go.
You won't.
If Joe and Jeff want to meet up and do tuning and grip things, I got to go.
Yeah. Okay.
That actually is very true. Well, both of those statements are very true.
We'll see. Anyway, I don't know. This is just like one of those interesting, weird things that they had to do back then that I thought was interesting.
That's crazy. That's one of those things like you start loading everything up on like a Thursday night, and you're just looking at like, do I really want to go?
Well,
like, what a hassle.
My thought is like, it was race weekend was 2 weeks ago. And I've been driving this station wagon to work every day, and that trailer's still back there because fuck this. I'm just driving around with an empty trailer because it's not worth unhooking it. Because I got another race weekend in 2 weeks, and I don't want to go through that process again.
That would explain why your dad always had a trailer.
From like April to November, you just don't unhook the trailer. You just leave it on.
Yeah.
Once you get that system bled, don't touch it.
Yep.
Just stays there.
You're like, this is so like I'm Googling it and finding nothing.
So I asked my dad if he had ever seen this before, if he had ever dealt with this before, if he could give me any information about it. This was relatively foreign to him as well.
Oh, weird.
And so I was like, is there like a valve on the is there like a valve right behind the bumper underneath the car that you could turn, and then another valve on the trailer that you could turn? Then you'd only have to bleed like a 2-foot chunk of rubber hose every time, which wouldn't be so bad. Right. Or like, are we talking about like a complete system thing?
Where's the tee off at?
The master cylinder.
Right away. Right
yeah.
Away.
Well, let's put this into context here. This car had a manual 4-wheel drum setup. Would you be able to tell if it was bled or not?
I mean, air probably did as much to stop it as hydraulic fluid.
Yeah. Wind resistance did as much to stop it as the brake system.
There is a reason those cars were so big and bulky in the time, I suppose. I never thought about that.
Man.
You don't want to make your car too slippery or you can't stop it. That's a good point. So
that is so bizarre.
Right?
I thought like the brakes where it has a master cylinder on the tongue of the trailer and it like pushes against
momentum.
It whenever you hit like I always thought that was the weirdest thing. No, this tops that. Yeah.
Well, Dalton's trailer has a electronically actuated hydraulic brake system.
Oh wow.
There's a master cylinder in the front of that trailer of the stacker, and the brake signal that would normally apply your electric brakes pushes an actuator that stops that trailer.
I did not know that. Never would have guessed that.
It also has like really weird hubs and all kinds of other strange things too, right?
Yeah. Hard to get.
Oh
expensive.
Yeah. Yep. Very expensive, but very like over. The trailer actually is really well built. Like it's very overbuilt. The axles that are on it are way higher rating than they need to be for even that trailer.
Oh yeah.
And like it's a very well built. It was not a cheap trailer when they bought it, brand new. But then they didn't really take care of it.
No.
So, but yeah, hydraulically driven trailer brakes.
Wild.
So I know that flat towing was a really common thing back then. So part of me is like, was it actually a trailer, or was there a T on the car behind them that they were flat towing?
Yeah, that was my first thought, was that they were teeing in on a car.
And then stopping the car with the car in front of it? But not the bumper, like Dusty does. Yeah. Obviously, Dusty practiced stopping the car with the car in front of it today. Yeah. But
you can stop a car that way too. I did it.
That's different, though. That's a different kind of stopping. So,
or you can just use a tire wall. Either one.
There you go.
Hey, it happens.
Best drivers in the world crash all the time.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad about it. So, other weird, wacky things my dad's doing. He has an international pickup truck, again, I don't know the years, 50s.
Yeah, old.
It's from the 50s. My dad is one of those people who names his vehicles.
Jess does that.
Yes. So this truck has a lot of patina on it. There's a picture in there somewhere if you want to find it.
I'll try.
It's got a lot of patina on it, so he calls it Tina.
Does he reuse names?
No.
If he uses Tina, it cannot be used again.
To my knowledge, he does not. He has not reused names.
Adam, you lied to me. There's not a picture of this truck.
I thought there was a picture of that truck. Maybe there isn't.
It's like the last one that came through.
It appears
which means I did.
It's just the front end.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, I didn't give you a whole picture of it. But it's very it's a really solid truck. It's all there, but it looks like somebody did the whole Volkswagen patina thing on it.
Yeah.
Except that this is natural and not. It's less dumb. I'm still not a fan. But you do you, Dad. I guess. But he put the front end from something newer in there, welded the frames together, had somebody weld the frames together, somebody much more qualified than he. And it's got a small block Chevy in it, I think, if I remember right, which is weird for my dad. It has NASCAR Truck Series stickers on the valve covers, so it's basically a race truck.
Legit.
Yeah, that's a NASCAR motor as far as I'm concerned.
It's about 850.
Yeah, how else do you get that sticker?
It's a Holley double pumper, and
It's definitely not a Holly.
It's fine, don't worry about it. It's definitely a quadrojet or something like that, something along those lines. But so this truck, for what has got to be 6 months now, and I don't even know if I'm exaggerating, we have been trying to get this fucking thing to bleed the brakes.
No, it's like a 350Z. Sorry, Dusty, I didn't mean to bring up pain.
Pain? No.
I've decided that the thing I hate most about cars is brakes.
Yeah, they're not fun to work on, and when they go bad, they go bad.
They're awful to work on. They're hard to troubleshoot. You don't know what the fuck is wrong.
And they're important.
And, like, you gotta have them. That's literally the only thing that's holding this truck up from running down the road at this point. And I'm not kidding. It's been almost 6 months that we've been trying to bleed these brakes. My dad bought this crazy sandwich plate that you can clamp onto the top of the master, and they make universal ones that are garbage.
Yeah.
This one is for this master cylinder.
Yes.
And it works really well. And you can clamp it on there and you can pressurize the system. Still can't get it to bleed.
What in the world?
And like he's replaced the master cylinder, he's replaced the calipers,
It's new. Like it
was all new to begin with because it's all like a custom brake setup. Because but we just can't get there. I hate it.
So the answer is to get a Willwood dual master balance bar pedal setup and go from there.
He brings up an excellent point.
That seems a little extreme for a truck that still has drums in the back.
Trucks really don't need rear brakes at all.
Well, so here's the problem. We did block off the front and back.
Sure.
We got back brakes. They work great. It's the front ones that are the problem.
Great.
Yeah. Because if it was the other way around, I'm pretty sure he would have just sent it down the road.
Yeah.
We'd be driving it. So all it needs is exhaust, but he doesn't want to take it to the exhaust shop and put exhaust on it
Until the brakes are done.
Because number one, it'd just be easier to be able to, stop it when you're taking it off the trailer and stuff like that. And number two, once there's exhaust on it, it's going to be hard to get to some of the things.
Oh, sure.
For the brake system. Because he bought like this Speedway master cylinder kit, and the master cylinder is like underneath the truck.
That's not helping you at all.
I don't like it.
It needs to be.
Has it got
above?
Did you put residual valves on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have residual valves on it. I'm not a fan of it either. But he's like, Speedway's been selling these for 1 million years. There's 100,000 people that have put them successfully on vehicles. And he's not wrong about that, but it just doesn't fucking work.
What if they all put them on cars just so they could load them on and off of a trailer and take them to good guys shows?
Well, there is that. Oof. At least a third of those people have successfully got the brakes to work well.
No, yeah, there definitely is a way to get it in.
So after talking with a lifelong mechanic friend of his, he's essentially come to the conclusion that there's an air bubble in the system. And it's just one of those things where it might take 45 minutes or more. It might take 2 hours.
Yeah.
You just got to bleed it until that air bubble goes away.
Keep fighting it. Yeah.
There's no other way to do it.
Yeah, just like the couple of times that I've let mine on the Z get dry with the motive bleeder, with it pressurized, like it pushes an air bubble straight through that.
That's what I said too.
Quick.
Like if it's pressurized, that air bubble should have no chance.
But also, my master cylinder is at least 8 to 10 inches higher than anything else on the system. So I'm gonna have to confront this because we're probably gonna do floor mounts in the Camaro. So someday I will get to fight this battle, probably. But
I don't know.
Doesn't sound fun at all.
It's awful.
Yeah.
But the master cylinder won't fit on the firewall because of the engine and the steering column and all that stuff. So
on the fact that the fender and the hood do this.
Yeah. The hood from the factory opens sideways, which is kind of cool.
It's cool to look at. I would not.
I think it would be annoying to work on.
I would not envy the person that has to work under it.
Yeah, it's not a clamshell hood. where it folds in half on both sides, like real old international trucks. It's one big hood that is hinged on the passenger side.
It's like a grand piano.
It's like the most Ricer Civic that has the side hood hinged hood. But this is factory.
Oof.
So I don't know. It should be a neat little truck when he finally finishes it.
Oh,
but
for sure.
For now, it's been a real pain in the ass.
A little bit of a nightmare.
So, and then there's the yellow car.
Yeah.
So when he got it, it ran really poorly, and for the life of him, he couldn't figure out why. And he was fighting it, trying to get it to run well. It wouldn't idle, it wouldn't smooth out. It just ran like garbage. And it's a 6-cylinder. He knows nothing about these 6-cylinders.
Oh, shoot.
And a buddy of his from Kansas who happened to be at the house one day, they were looking at it, and he looks at it and he goes, two of your plug wires are swapped.
Oh, shit.
And that's the way it was when he got it.
Yeah, it's just been that
and
way
he never
forever.
thought to like verify that.
Right.
And it's not the same firing order as a small block, like as a V8.
Yep.
And so it never dawned on him. And so pop, switch, pop.
Done.
Runs like a fucking champ, dude. Runs like a dream. I drove it for a while.
It's always something stupid. It's always something stupid.
He was talking about the station wagon. He's saying that he can't get that to run. I was like, did you check the plug wires? He's like, it's a V8. I know what firing order that is. I'm not that dumb. Like, I'm just saying, Dad. Did you check the plug wires?
You got to check the dumb stuff.
So
too.
now every time a vehicle doesn't run well, that's going to be my go-to thing for him. So sorry about that one. But no, this thing's a 3 on the tree.
Oof.
Which I haven't driven in basically since I was in high school. So my brother-in-law is, we'll call him car curious.
Okay.
He likes the ideas of them. He just doesn't really live in a situation where he can have anything fun, cool, and exciting. I mean, he flies jet planes, so like I don't like fighter planes. So like I don't
how
feel
cool could a car be?
I don't feel that bad for him, like because his day job is flying fighter jets. So like he's doing fine.
Yep.
He gets his fair share of fun and excitement. It's fine, but so I took him out and kind of showed him how to drive it. This is one of those transmissions where the first gear is not synchronized, so you have to be like basically at a dead stop to put it in first gear. But I think you could put it in third, just leave it there and lug it off of every stoplight or stop sign, and it would go. Like if you gave it enough gas and slipped the clutch enough, it would go. It'll lug itself along just fine.
Huh.
But I kind of showed him how to drive it, and then he drove it for a while, and of course. It was the pinnacle of 50s safety, so it has no seatbelts in it. And my sister's normally like very by the book about vehicle safety with her children.
Yeah, of course.
And my children are like feral monsters compared to hers in that respect. So like my 3-year-old daughter comes around and I'm like, sure, hop in, let's go. I don't like...
We die as a family.
Yeah. Like, I don't, whatever. Just don't fall out the window. I don't care. And so then all of the kids hopped in. And I thought for sure Erin was like not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
But she let it happen. So we took the kids for a cruise in the old Pontiac.
Well, I mean, you're just cruising around town. So
yeah, we never left town. But she runs like a dream.
That's cool.
So there was a nostalgia drag race. Which is supposed to be like gassers, front engine dragsters, stuff like that, right? At the drag strip local to my dad, and he went and brought this thing there, and actually made a couple passes with it, just kind of because, I guess,
because he's there and he has it. Why wouldn't?
Right? Yeah. And so it's abysmally slow.
Is it a 14-second car? In the 8th.
So in the 8th, is this the right slip? Yes, she went 12.5 at 55 miles an hour.
Hell yeah, 12-second car, buddy.
She's a full 2 seconds slower than the Omni, with me totally bombing my second to third gear shift.
Happens.
Yeah. So She's a real rocket ship. 55 miles an hour in the 8th.
That's why
Flat
your sister
out.
wasn't worried.
Well, there is that. There is that. But no, I don't know. He's kind of it is for sale right now. He's kind of on the fence on it because now that it runs, he's almost like, this thing is almost too nice to do what I want to do with it. And there's only so many of them that are in that condition left in the world.
He's not wrong.
And it feels a little weird. And also, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or not. So
It's the Canadian one,
it's
right?
a Canadian one.
Yeah.
So basically it is the Pontiac version and the Chevy version were similar, but the Pontiac version is like a few inches longer.
Yep,
Apparently
yep.
it's not exactly the same car. Well, this is a Chevy with Pontiac badging and chrome on it, and it does have a Chevy engine in it, whereas an American one would have come with a Pontiac V6 or V8. This one has the Chevy V6 in it. And so it's one of those things where, like, it's not worth more because of it.
No.
But it's kind of an interesting story.
Yes.
And so it is for sale right now. I don't know what he's going to do. I guess we'll find out. But
I mean, it is in great
kinda-
shape. It's kind of
it's in really nice shape, and it runs so nice.
Yeah.
It's such a good little car for like someone to just beat around town and enjoy.
yep.
But
Yeah, even as somebody that doesn't think that anything is sacred and has just taken the plasma cutter to things,
right.
I have a soft spot for that, just like time capsule kind of car like that.
So it's not original paint. It has been repainted.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the original color even or not. But like it's an original color. I mean, it's not like it's some ridiculous color that it would have never come as. And it looks all original. The interior is all original, and it's so perfect. It's crazy how good the interior is in that thing.
That's original.
As far as we can tell.
Holy
Yeah.
cows.
And like
bet.
it's so nice inside.
I bet I know exactly how that car smells on the inside.
Yes, you do. 100%.
My granddad restored a 1950 Ford whenever I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I can get within 3 feet of the open window of a 50s car and be like, that's what his car smelled like.
They have a smell. They
Yep,
do. There's no doubt.
That's it. Back when new car smell was good.
I don't know that it's good. It's just a smell.
Oh, it's just just
not bad.
Very distinct. Yeah.
It's not bad, but I don't know that I would call it good. I'm not sure what my dog's doing in that picture.
Shaking his head.
She's a nutcase. So, anyway, I guess we'll see what he does. So, and then the final thing that we played around with all weekend, my dad bought a 2-seater go-kart. So one day, we're sitting at the supper table eating, and my son says to me, I want a go-kart.
He's not really the...
No.
Yeah, so your daughter was more that way.
And this was... So remember when we went to the Topeka NHRA, the last NHRA event that they had at Topeka, and I took my kid with? He got to sit in a junior dragster.
Yes.
And like apparently that made more of an impression on him than I would have thought, because here we are like over a year later now at this point, and he still occasionally brings that up
Oh, yeah. Life-changing.
without any like prompting or seeing something related to it or anything like that. And I think he was actually talking about that in his mind, that's a go-kart.
Sure.
At one point, the local drag strip here, Eddyville, used to own a junior dragster. The track did, and you could rent it for a night to see if your kid would do it.
That'd be nice.
And like because I'm like almost 100% certain that I don't think I could get my kid in it if push came to shove.
Sure.
So when I did my first drive in the junior dragster, we had a night where one of my dad's friends' daughter was going to be gone. And the way that the track worked there, the points went with the car, not the driver. And she was doing really well in the points series that year. And so I drove the car for her that night
Sure.
so that she could get points for the weekend. And that was how I got my toes into it to see if it was even going to be something that I would do. But anyway, I called my dad and I handed Logan the phone. I said, "Tell him what you just told me," knowing full well that was going to be enough to get him to buy one. And he goes, "Grandpa, I want a go-kart." And like literally 2 days later, I got the picture of a go-kart in the back of my dad's truck. And I was like, I'm just saying, if I was 8 years old and I said, "Dad, I wanted a go-kart," he would have been like, "Well, guess you better start saving your money." But here's Grandpa Rayner, who's the biggest pushover I've ever met in my life, buying his grandkid. Dusty's like, "Yep, I get it."
This all sounds real familiar.
Way too familiar, huh?
So we were at my parents' the weekend before last, and my dad says, "All right, find out what go-kart you want him to get," because they got him a Power Wheels whenever he was like 1 year and a couple of months old, and now he's like mashed to the floor,
100%
splitting
of the time.
trees and stuff at my parents' house in it. So it's like, okay, so what's the next step?
Yeah. So my dad bought this thing. It didn't run very well. It's just a regular Harbor Freight Predator engine on it. It's nothing crazy. Didn't run very well though. And I don't know why my phone just vibrated. I thought I had it shut off. But anyway, he got it running. My kids, obviously my daughter's way too small for it, but Logan doesn't quite reach the pedals, and it has like a hard linkage.
Oh, yeah.
So like you can't just move the pedal, right?
Well, that's why you just put a towel behind him.
Well, and I suggested, no, he needs like 8 inches of towel. It's not going to work well.
You put 2 towels behind him, and then you put 2 blocks of wood.
So that was
exactly what we did on the Power Wheels.
So that's what I suggested to my dad. I was like, "Dad, let's just get some like 2x and screw them through the pedal to the 2x."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I don't know if he'll be able to." I'm like, "Dad, he's going to like tap the throttle a couple of times, and like that's going to be it. Like he's not going to be."
Yeah, you're not pushing it here.
He's not going to be going crazy, or he's a giant pansy. So I don't know. We'll have to figure out some way for him to be able to drive it. But in the meantime, I was giving all the kids rides, and so my sister has 2 kids, and then I have my 2 kids. So it was literally like a constant stream rotation of the 4 kids. And like, if I even like looked in the general direction of the go-kart and one of them saw me doing it, they were there ready to go.
Yep.
And I'm like doing donuts in my dad's driveway. And like, I did the first donut, and he's like, "Just try not to tear the driveway up too bad." But then like, obviously the grandchildren loved it. So then it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was fine. And I'm like drifting through the grass and the whole 9 yards. And, Logan, the first time I rode with him, or the first time he rode with me, we're like whipping around the backside of the house, splitting trees, like Dusty was saying. This thing kind of hauls ass.
Yeah.
I'll bet it does 30, 35 miles an hour. It kind of hauls ass for a go-kart.
Yeah.
And it'll slide with the best of them.
Perfect.
Like, I mean, you got an opposite lock to keep this thing going. It's like it's a pretty fun little ride. And
I mean, it's a welded diff back there. So.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And there's like air quote seatbelts in it.
Yeah.
They're good enough. It's fine. But like Logan's belted in, white knuckling the roll bar next to him repeatedly at like yelling, "My dad can drive. My dad can drive." Like, he's like reassuring himself that I am a competent and capable driver and that I'm not going to kill him. I was like, "Thanks, buddy. You really, really like," but yeah. So I spent my whole weekend teaching people how to drive 3 on the trees and ruining children with drifting go-karts.
Yeah. You have a son that's a drifter.
No, if anyone's going to be a drifter in my family, it's going to be my daughter. She's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
There was no amount of stupid that I could get in that go-kart that was too much for my 3-year-old. She took every bit of it and wanted more. She is a problem.
Yeah.
She is an adrenaline junkie. She is not afraid of anything. She is... some days I'm convinced not capable of feeling pain. I mean, she couldn't be more polar opposite from her brother. It's so funny to me because, like, I mean, they were raised in the same house with relatively similar raising
Yeah, it's all the same.
methods. Couldn't be more different. So
It's the second one. It's always the second one.
it really wasn't in my family.
No, that was the first in my family.
Yeah, same. So, but I don't know. It was
Yeah,
fun.
That's fun.
It was great. Yeah. So I got to get my son in it so that he can actually drive it. Because I think
Was he content with riding, or was he ready ready to drive?
I think he would he would sit in the driver's seat and try and reach it, and I think he would like to drive it,
Sure.
or he would like to try it. But he's like, the first time he breathes on that throttle full wide open, that'll be the end of it.
Yeah, as soon as the neck goes back.
It won't go full open throttle again after the first try for a while. It'll take him a while to work up the nerve to do it the second. The first time it'll happen accidentally.
Yep.
And then it'll take him a while to get it worked back up to that point. But
No, that's fun.
because he's such a pansy. I love the kid to death, but he's such a pansy. So,
Then there's Kaylee, who'll foot to the floor the second she gets in.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's going to be a problem. So,
Good times.
kids, man,
Luckily, they don't change anything.
not a thing. But Dusty,
What'd
speaking of
you
old
do?
cars.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Yeah, I did car stuff with the kid a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I have a love-hate relationship with Eagles Canyon Raceway.
That's like in Oklahoma or something, right?
Yeah,
Because there's only one track in Texas.
Yeah,
that I'm
Yeah, it
aware
couldn't be
of.
in Texas, no. So like over the years I've driven there a lot and had like varying levels of, like, we've blown up an engine there. I broke a control arm on the Camaro there, but it's a super nice, cool, fun track. So
Is this your local track then?
it and Crescent are both an hour from me.
Oh,
So
okay. Must be nice.
it'll be nice to have a track within an hour of you.
What are you going to have within an hour?
Mid-Ohio.
I thought that was more than an hour. I mean, obviously it's closer than anything
It's
we have
close.
now, but I thought it was more
That's
than,
probably more than an hour,
I think
but
it's like closer to 2 or maybe 3.
it's not that far.
No?
No.
Oh. E-Man made a big deal of it the first year, like it was such a far drive. Like, fucker, we drove 15 hours to get here. You can shut your mouth.
It's not far.
So, anyway.
I still conveniently have, it's 1 hour and 3 minutes.
There you go.
Jeez.
I still conveniently had Columbus, Ohio open on my Google Maps, right next to the pop versus.
Oh, it's
Soda
1 hour and
Stats,
3 minutes to mid-Ohio?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
all right.
that's nice.
Jesus Christ.
And they do testing on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I know.
And then Dayton, Dula Design's only like, what, an hour and a half away?
I have no idea.
That's nice.
Could be 12 hours away. I don't. The only thing I've ever done in Ohio is drive through it and go to mid-Ohio. Those are the only two things I've ever done in Ohio.
During one of the interviews, they'd asked, like, obviously moving's a big deal. Well,
Yeah.
Apparently it's a bigger deal than I gave it credit because everyone's like, oh, I couldn't do it. I guess
If I was single, I promise you I wouldn't live here. Oh, I would have moved out of here
Sure,
a long time
for
ago.
sure.
I am much more
rooted.
free-spirited than my wife is.
Yep. But yeah, that was one of the big questions, just like moving.
Yeah.
And then they'd ask me if I spent a bunch of time in Columbus or in Ohio, and I was like, well, I've been to Dayton a bunch of times for race, like getting my car tuned and stuff. They're like, yeah, but don't judge Ohio on Dayton.
They're like, shit, we lost him.
Yep.
He's not going to take this job.
I can't believe we took the interview.
We're going to have to make him a ridiculous offer to make up for Dayton.
I mean,
Whatever it takes, right?
yeah, I mean,
Robbie knew what he was saying.
the offer was good.
It was fine.
It's good enough to justify moving.
It was good enough to, yeah. So,
it's good enough to justify packing everything up. Yeah.
Yep. So you love and hate Eagles Canyon, which is one of the only tracks outside of Texas,
right, in Oklahoma,
in Oklahoma.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's a shame you couldn't just go to Austin for the only track that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. So I'd like check the calendar during the week and saw there was a vintage group running there that weekend. So packed up the kid fairly early on Sunday morning and took him out there. And this group had like 7 run groups running total. And so it's everything from Formula Vs all the way up to big bore Trans Am cars.
Hell yeah.
So like rolling into the track, I drive in behind a like late 80s air cooled Porsche that has our 888s on it and is like covered in gravel dust and has a whale tail, and it's like kind of beat up and it's got stickers on the window, and it's kind of just the perfect car.
Jesus Christ.
And that just kind of set the tone for the things that we saw while we were there.
I didn't realize you were this deep into the classic air-cooled 911
Hey, man, it happens.
cult.
So I followed a few different photographers that are P car guys, and I've kind of been sucked into a little bit of the cult through that. But yeah. Good news is I can't afford any
I was
of
gonna
it,
say.
so it doesn't matter.
I'm sure you'll be getting one somewhere close to never,
Yeah.
because all they do is keep going up.
Well, if I did have that kind of money to spend on an older car, it would just be a Viper GTS, because that's what
You got to live that.
9-year-old
Yep.
me said that we were going to do some days.
That makes way more sense than an air-cooled Porsche.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who argues that's just wrong.
We were sitting at Pins, the group of us in Columbus, and Sean shows up with his air cooled whatever Porsche. I don't know what year.
Yeah.
And he
They're
comes.
all the same.
the-
His Volkswagen Beetle.
He comes around the corner and you hear him. And I turned to Emet and he goes, "Oh yeah, that's Sean." I was like, "Okay, I take it back. Everything I ever said about air cooled Porsche."
Whatever.
Holy fuck, that sounded good, dude.
You'd
Oh
buy
my-
a Viper over
Oh
that
my
still.
god, you're not wrong, but oh my god, it
Yeah,
sounded
they
good.
do sound really cool.
Yeah. So a while back, we've got friends that host car meets at their detailing shop. And there was a while back that there was a silver, like 92, 93 model turbo rolls in that is like lowered on some just like absolutely perfect fitting wheels and had just a fairly modest exhaust. And it was just one of like, I don't look at cars and get like struck by them that much. There was something
jaded.
about that car. It was just like, man, that car just has a presence to it. And I don't know what it was about it, but
Yeah. I mean, they're fine.
I understand you, Dusty. I get it.
so watching the racing at this, so like whenever we got there, the group that was out was like MGs and like Datsun 1600s and I think maybe minis. It was like kind of the small bore closed fender class. And like every one of these cars is like a ton of compression, big nasty cams, little bitty buzzy, crazy sounding engines. And they're on little bitty skinny tires that are hard as a rock. So they're all like watching from Eagles has a platform that you can watch from, and you can see the cars coming up out of like probably, I guess if it's not the lowest part of the track, it's got to be close. You come up this like kind of constant radius uphill corner onto the next to last straight. And all of these cars are just like, they're just yawing all over the place. Like they're just, everything about these cars is just slip angle. And just like, maybe these guys are onto something. Like they just look fun. And I bet other than like having to tune Webers and stuff like that, like they're probably pretty low maintenance for 50.
I don't know. It depends on how
but,
wild a compression they are.
yeah.
They might be pretty low hour motors.
Yeah. I don't think anything here was like crazy extreme.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
suppose.
because these guys aren't running like this group, especially. It was racing, but it was more of like, it wasn't like straight point by, but it wasn't like hard wheel to wheel. It wasn't like what you see at Goodwood where they're just riding cars off left and right with reckless abandon. So, so yeah, there was like I got one in there of a white, I'm pretty sure it's a Bug Eye Sprite.
Yep.
And yeah, like the Datsuns and MGs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was a super cool race. They kind of spread out. There wasn't a ton of cars out there, so it wasn't a lot of, kind of jockeying around. And then I think it was them and then the Formula Vs. So the Formula Vs, it's like, it's essentially just the front suspension and the drivetrain and swing arms of a Beetle, and then like 4 tubes connecting them in the middle that a person sits in. And they're wild cars just because there's just nothing to them, and they're not quick, they're not loud, they're not.
They make like 32 horsepower or something stupid.
They're brave. So
are they 4-wheel drum?
Possibly. I think they might be disc in the front, but
yeah, maybe.
And there's different generations of them too, because like there was a decent variety in the field in this one. Some of them were essentially just body panels grafted onto the side. Some of them had a little bit more body work on them, but they're braking at like if the there's like the brake markers for turn 1 are like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're like past the 1 before they even lift.
So like if you're in the Z, where do you brake?
Like 4, like between 3 and 4.
All right. Fair enough.
And my car is it's only going like 110 or something there. It's not like it's fast, but
where'd you brake with the Camaro?
Further back than that, because I was scared of it more than anything, but so yeah. And then, so those guys come in and I look over at the grid and here's the Trans Am group, but the Trans Am group was group 1. It was or group 7, I guess. It was the last one to go before the lunch break. And it is an entire grid of Boss 302 Mustangs and Corvettes. And then there was some other stuff. I think there was like a Porsche 914 and some other stuff that was mixed in there, but
that was so dope.
60s Trans Am to me is the coolest racing outside, like for like production car racing. Like 60s Trans Am is it to me, especially like 69, 70. And there's a handful of 67 to 70 Mustangs in this, and I'm a Camaro guy.
Those are second-gen Mustangs for those playing along at home.
I thought it was third.
No, that's the Mustang 2, obviously.
No, I think the third was actually the big like Torino-based ones, and then the Mustang 2. But
could have been.
No, that's a whole other deal. No one could possibly know.
Fucking stupid. There's like 10 generations of Mustang. I don't care what anybody says.
You're not wrong.
So like there's a couple of pictures in there of there was an orange one that was I think a 70. It's got the Budmore Engineering decal on the side. Yep. It's got an oval exhaust dumping right in front of the rear tire. Like this car is the jam. Like everything about it is perfect. Man. It's on torque thrust D, so they're gray in the center with the machine polished lip. The big fat Goodyear white letter tires with tread on them, like man. And that field rolling off for the outlap was the coolest part of the entire day there. All these cars just going out of the grid. And like naturally there was one car that didn't look totally period correct that was way faster than all the rest of them. They kind of
ruins it for everybody
and hid from everybody, but yeah, it was super cool. So I'm walking around there with my son who's about to be 4, and literally any driver that's by their car, they see him, they say hi, hey, do you want to get in the car? He's scared to death of being like, he's just super shy in general, and situations like that are just kind of overwhelming. So he, of course, I'm not getting in any of these cars. They're not the race cars that I know. So, but it was a super cool just overall group of people. So
Yeah, I've always kind of been interested in the vintage groups. I always thought that was cool because they did that at that Brainerd event we did. Like they had us doing TT, and then the vintage group was like filling in. And man, I just sat back and watched like every time I wasn't working on the car or on track. Just it was just so fun. And then they also, I assume it was probably this group or something similar when we were there for One Lap of America. They were there the weekend before, so there was a nice like. The racing line just had an oil, like it was just an oil line to give you the racing line from the vintage cars.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they had oiled. Yeah, because there was a big delay that morning, right?
Yeah, there was so much oil dry because they had like spent days just putting oil dry down on the entire racing line for the whole track, and then like we come and show up and it's still crappy like the day of. And I remember, I think Tomo was like one of the first ones out. In that ZR1
the Grand Sport,
that Corvette.
It was a ZR1, yeah,
that Corvette. And I remember him coming around the last corner completely sideways because he had no grip because there was just oil dry fucking everywhere.
Right.
And and it wasn't like they were great track conditions anyways. But he's completely sideways, foot to the floor, putting power down, and just you're convinced he's crashing. He crashed 2 or 3 times through that corner, and he somehow made it through, and it was wild.
It's not fair, is what it is.
It's not fair.
He's an alien.
That corner has multiple walls.
Yeah, but it wasn't his car,
one wall
so
that's
wasn't
right up
worried
against
about
the
it.
track. Yeah.
And that was like early in the event too.
Yeah, that was fairly early.
Because we went down to eat. That was like Monday. It was like Monday or Tuesday, I think. And then we worked our way back over because we went to Georgia up to like Summit Point stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so talked to a guy at one point that had a Formula Ford that I mentioned that I have. So he offered for Connor to get in the car, and of course was no. And I told him like, yeah, he's more used to the race car we have at home, which is like the meme about the thing that we have at home. That's not nearly as good as the real race cars.
Are we talking about the Z or the Camaro at this point?
The Z.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But
I'll allow that meme then. If it was a Camaro, I was going to be like, well, let's calm down here for a second.
Well, the shell of a race car we have at home, that's that meme. So
I suppose for him, that car barely exists.
He knows that we raced it.
Right. But he doesn't.
I don't know that he
remember it.
remembers because he was really little.
Yeah.
But I mentioned, having a 350Z at home that he goes out and rides with me with, and the guy was like, "Oh, I'm on an endurance team that we run a 300ZX turbo."
Fun.
And
I'm sorry,
like some kind of, I don't know which endurance group they ran with, but I'm just like, that sounds like a beating.
Yeah. Glutton for punishment. A turbo endurance car. That'll end well.
Yeah, but those cars are awesome.
I know, but I don't think they're like known for reliability, are they?
Or their track performance. No.
Or being easy to work on.
No, none of those things. But at the same time, that's what makes them great.
I mean, I guess it depends on why you're there.
So, if you're running it in lemons, you get more points for having to go through absolute living hell.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember at Champ Car, there was an Alpha there, and I think they just came there to work on that car. I don't think they were there to race. I think they just enjoyed working on the car at the racetrack.
They genuinely didn't even buy a ticket. They just showed up.
They made like 4 laps the whole weekend. I mean, it was bad.
Oh.
That's what
But they were glorious laps.
Yeah, I know the early days of it, like it was about coming up with the worst idea possible and then just trying to make it be on track at all.
Right. Well, this was Champ Car, not Lemons. Champ Car was always a little more serious.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lemons was definitely that for a long time.
Was that pre or post name change for Champ Car?
I think we were Champ Car and not Chump Car at that point.
That sounds right.
I'm pretty sure we were Champ Car then.
So that was supposed to be serious racing then.
More serious than Lemons.
Yeah.
But it wasn't WRL.
Well, nothing is WRL.
There was still a lot of dumb rules and limitations to what you could do. There were a lot of things that it was a point system, And there were a number of things that like we needed to do to the Neon to like just survive, and we were negatively affected by them point wise. Like putting in an aluminum radiator that will actually keep the car cool instead of blowing up the motor halfway through the race and causing a problem. No, you got to take points for that.
What?
But it wasn't a $500 budget. You were allowed to like do things, whereas Lemons they wanted you to show up with a car that had a leaking oil pan gasket and stuff like that because that was part of the fun. And I was like,
it had a $1,500 roll cage in it.
Right. I don't get
details.
this.
Details.
Yeah, we got one of the guys that works with my dad was given a Toyota Tercel at one point. We're like, yeah, we're going to take this thing lemons racing. It's going to be awesome. And then we get in there and start reading the rules and like looking at the safety gear and stuff. And I was like, okay, this $500 racing thing is going to be like $3,000 a weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
To have this piece of crap just kick us in the balls all day long for 2 days.
Yep.
That sounds stupid.
Well, I remember we were looking at building a Lemons Champ car. Me and Josh Jones and Don Voss, we were looking at building something, and like we'd done a couple autocrosses, and Josh had done like 2 track days. We were like,
we're ready.
Let's do this.
We're going wheel to wheel, baby.
Yep, we're ready.
We're gonna skip the whole track day thing. We're going straight to endurance wheel to wheel racing. Let's go.
I appreciate that. I like that.
We never made it.
I know, but I like the attitude.
That's where our heads were at. That's actually what we looked at the Omni for to begin with.
And in defense of Lemons, they would have let you ride on track.
They would not sell us the car if we were going to do that with it.
I do remember that.
So, anyway. So, how many cars were at this event?
A good turnout.
Roughly.
Probably 100 or so.
Wow.
Between it was 7 run groups, so like the 3 that I saw run were the Trans Am group was like probably 25 cars.
Oh wow,
like it was a good sized group.
So what's like if you just show up for like a normal track day like what you go to, what's a good turnout for one of like is this a big event for that track or is it an average event for that track?
This was fairly. I was expecting there to be more cars there actually based on what we'd gone to one of their events years ago there.
Yeah.
And I think there was a few groups that bring multiple cars that maybe weren't there at this one. I know there's a guy locally that does a lot of vintage Lotus stuff. And I was kind of hoping that group would be there because they've got like closed and open wheel, like 60s, like Lotus, like Formula Fords and stuff like that.
Buddy.
Like super, super cool. Green with the yellow stripe up the front, like legit. Like Colin Chapman built this thing for somebody to die in it type Lotus stuff. But yeah, like the group that I've been running with, Apex, I think we did an event in August there, and they had well over 100 cars between HPDE and Lap Attack. So
I can't imagine doing a track day in Texas in August. That sounds awful.
Oh, that's nice. Hot.
Oh, it was rough.
Too hot.
Nah, it's good. You gotta go south.
Too hot.
Gotta go south, Adam.
That's too hot.
It's fine.
So, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, I want to go to more vintage stuff. I'm sure there's some in Ohio.
So that was my conclusion from the day was find a vintage racing group around you and go watch them. Take your kid.
Couldn't agree more.
I mean, that was kind of how we felt about just general take your, go to a race. Even if it's just like a regular SCCA event.
Oh, for sure.
Just go. They'll be so excited to see you.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Wait, you're here and you're not a family member of a driver? You're just here to watch?
Just hanging out?
Let us be overly friendly towards you.
Yeah, literally everywhere we went in the paddock, it was the driver door was coming open. Hop in if you want. Okay. Now I meant your kid.
Oh, damn it. It's funny because you're talking about those Formula Vs, and in my Facebook memories just popped up that Formula 440 that I almost bought.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. That was a basket case, and I dodged a bullet by not buying it, but I was like counting hundreds, getting ready to buy this thing.
Ready.
I was sold on it. I'm glad I didn't buy that.
I wish you would have.
That was pre-Omni days, I think.
Yep. That was right around that same time.
Yeah, it was right around the same time, but I don't think I had bought the Omni yet. I think that was before I figured out what I was wanting to do.
Yep. I explicitly remember it.
Yeah.
But it looks like that kind of looks like the cars they had at like Malibu Grand Prix or something.
A Formula 440?
Yeah.
So Formula 500s are the same thing. It's just that back in the day, they didn't have 500cc engines. They had 440cc engines. And the one that I looked at was an autocross car. Or not an autocross. It was a track day car because it had a fire suppression system in it and all that stuff. Like it was one that was ran on the track. And it was my dad has a buddy who owns a junkyard, and he ended up with it somehow. And, yeah, it didn't run, but the motor turned over. It came with, like, at least 2, if not 3 sets of wheels. There were tires on all of them. They were all obviously shot and destroyed. I mean, it was all there. I didn't run. And I had, like, these crazy ideas in my head of like, oh, I'm going to turn this thing into the crazy autocross machine. I'm going to do all these crazy things to it. And like, I dodged a bullet because autocrossing something like that in the state of Iowa would be awful.
Awfully awesome.
But our parking lots are so bad and it has no suspension.
Well, that was also back when we had places to go.
Well, there is that, but like beside just like in general, there's a reason that like our kart and formula classes are not very big around here.
Yeah.
And that's because our lots are awful because we live in winter.
Yeah.
And
well, that's not exclusive to winter because we have like no mod cars around here anymore because our lots are just atrocious. The one like E-mod car that is left, or F-mod, I guess, that runs here. Anytime he runs at Lone Star Park, like he'll go and walk the course and then just load the car up and go home because it goes across parts of the lot that he knows will just literally like rip the bottom of his car off.
Yeah. Ugh. There was a shifter cart that would show up in Sioux Falls when I went and ran there regularly. And he would like, I don't know how he turned when he didn't have any wheels touching the ground. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me, but he spent as much time floating as he did driving forward. I mean, that lot was so awful.
Yep. Oh, man. I remember that one.
It looks fun.
Oh, yeah, it does.
But also looks terrible. And that was kind of where I was at with this Formula 440.
Yeah.
So
it would have been awesome to have you get that. But
yeah, it would have been neat. It would have been a fun little thing if I ever could have got it to run.
You would have.
I don't know. I had these I'm going to put a bike motor on it. And all this shit. Like, which I think everybody thinks, how cool would it be to buy a Formula car and put a bike motor on it, you know?
Yeah, it's the best idea ever.
But like, he wanted too much money for it and stuff like that.
It's probably still sitting exactly where you left it.
It's not there anymore.
Oh, isn't it?
It's gone. Shoot. I've been there since.
Shoot.
Yeah, because now you could probably get it for a song and dance if it was still there.
If it was still there, yeah,
by
for
now,
sure.
because it's been there for 10 years. But then it for sure would have been useless.
Yep. Start from scratch at that point.
Yeah, you're just buying a chassis. So, but people road race those. It's
the ones I was thinking about from Malibu Grand Prix it was a Lola T506 was the original Malibu Grand Prix cars.
Yeah. Those Formula 440s are snowmobiles, so they have like essentially it's like a CVT engine transmission in it, and so a full race group of those is awful. It's awful. Yeah, it's one pitch the whole time.
Uh-huh.
So they're kind of, I mean, they're cool. They'd be fun, but also, yeah. I'm not sad I didn't buy it.
I am.
That F mod that runs locally, it's a centrifugal clutch like that.
Yeah,
so
well, that's what these go. The Formula 500s and stuff go into F mod now.
Okay, yeah. so that he leaves the line and you just hear, wow.
Yep, the whole time.
And then you can tell when he crosses the finish line because it finally goes, oh.
Yep. Terrible. So, well, anything else?
No, just go check out a vintage race. Go to a racetrack.
Yeah, just do it. Like if it's like an hour from you, just go. It's not that far.
Buy something. Well, if they sell T-shirts or something, just buy a T-shirt. I like having racetracks.
Me too.
Is there a pond there?
Go tell them to dig a pond.
There's actually a pond at Mid-Ohio, and
Yeah.
it's stocked by the local Shields.
Oh man.
And
So the bass are like
and
this big.
no, probably not.
Yeah, probably.
No, probably not. And
You'll have to come tell me about it.
they do. There was some event, maybe the IndyCar weekend,
yeah.
where they had a fishing tournament.
It's Indy or IMSA, I can't remember.
Yeah, there was a weekend where they had a fishing tournament.
There's gonna be an IndyCar race and an IMSA within an hour of my new house.
That pond
Give or
looks
take.
like it's
Depends on which end of Columbus you live. That might be part of your house search parameters.
No. Getting a house roughly like this within 30 minutes of my place of work is ideal. There's a handful that we found, but
Yeah.
Jess is all bougie. Thinks we need to have better than what we got. Trying to bring her back down to earth.
Yeah, bigger shop.
I don't know why you guys don't live in like a 900 square foot house with a 3,500 square foot shop instead of the other way around like you have it now.
The house she picked out the other day was like, the shop's like the same as what we currently have, and it's just like this. She's like, because we literally were talking about downsizing, and then she shows me this house, and granted, it ticks literally every box, but it's just like, it's quite a bit bigger than this house.
Why?
It's like, she's like, it has everything. I was like, yeah, it does. We don't need
I was
it.
like, I go to use this bathroom because no one's used it in 6 months. I just want to make sure the toilet still flushes.
To be fair, 2 bathrooms is non-negotiable.
Fine.
2 bathroom minimum.
But you guys don't need 4.
We can't. It can't be less than 2. That's the rules. I don't care what it has to have 2 bathrooms.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I hate having a single bathroom.
Nope.
It's awful.
There was multiple houses that kind of would have worked, and had a single bathroom. We're like, nope.
That was not on my radar when I bought a house, and it would be now.
Yep, not
for
an
sure.
option. Not an option.
My requirements, granted, we were shopping a very different budget range, but my requirements were central air and a paved driveway. Those were my 2 big things.
I don't really care about the paved driveway. It'd be nice, but I don't care.
Didn't want to deal with it.
I get that. I don't blame you there at all.
So,
My wife sends me listings all the time, and I reply back, "That's a great house for someone
else.
I don't know why you think we're going to live there, but
This house had pillars on the inside, and I was like, we can't have pillars on the inside. We can't have pillars on the inside.
My friends will never let me live that down. I can't do that. Are you kidding me?
I'm not moving into a house with pillars on the inside.
he's going to have new friends. They won't care.
That's true. They're Porsche people.
Bullshit. They're E-Man's friends. You think they're any different than the friend group he's currently got?
Based on the conversation, yes.
Whatever.
Sean's like a Porsche guy. He's got like 6 of them.
Yeah, it doesn't mean he's not a degenerate like the rest of us.
No, Sean's got his shit together. He's always had.
Doesn't mean he's not a degenerate like the rest of us.
We all have our levels of degenerates.
Right. Doesn't mean he's not going to make fun of you for having pillars inside your house.
That's fair. And it's justified, to be fair.
Right.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying. You can't have
He's just going to want
pillars.
to know.
You'll never hear the end of it.
Yep.
He's just going to want to know if the pillars are air cooled or water cooled.
He's definitely less interested if they're water cooled.
As he should be. Anyways, much more to come of that. From everyone here at 1010's Podcast, a Columbus-based podcast. We'll catch you next week.
Or we might just shut it down. Who fucking knows?
I refuse.
Who fucking knows?
I refuse.
It's been fun, everyone.
We'll catch everybody next week.